Hello guys, welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to be talking about what should you really be eating while traveling, because we obviously all don't want to be thinking about, oh, am I eating the right things while we're on vacation. So I'm going to be telling you if you really should be worrying about what you're eating on vacation. Now, this does depend on whether you are driving somewhere or if you are flying somewhere. If you are driving somewhere, you can take stuff that you pre-made and not have to really worry about the macros and the calories and everything because you've already got it all figured out. Or if you're flying, I should say, it's a little bit more complicated because you're probably not bringing food that you've pre-made. And you will most likely be eating at like restaurants and stuff. So, first thing, this should be kind of a given, is protein. Like, I don't know if people, I don't understand how people don't know how important protein is, because it is literally the muscle builder. It replaces your fat with muscle, builds the muscle, and then when it builds the muscle, that's how it replaces fat with muscle, is because it makes the muscle bigger, and then there's less room for fat within the skin, so it makes it easier to fill out your frame with muscle instead of fat. But protein, if you don't already know kind of the foods that have a lot of protein in it, you can go to my macromolecule video where I talk about it, but just some main ones are like steak, chicken, all kind of meat like fish, chicken, turkey, steak, pork, bacon, which is same thing as pork, but you got also yogurt and eggs, mainly stuff that comes from animals. You can find it in other stuff that doesn't come from animals, like nuts and stuff, but if you're not a vegetarian or you're not a vegan, I would say sticking to animal stuff, like stuff that comes from animals, would be most beneficial. And protein, once again, is a big deal. And how you can determine this is if you are, like I said, driving, you can pre-make it. Some protein, you can put all the ingredients that have all your protein. You can make like a cheeseburger or something. Or if you're traveling, as in flying out of your state or your country or something, you can order something at a restaurant that has those items in it. Because most of the time, if you are at a restaurant, they're gonna have some sort of option with meat or something like that, or something that comes from an animal, because I don't know, because that's just how they run. But like a cheeseburger, like just straight steak, bacon, eggs, like scrambled eggs if you're eating breakfast, stuff like that all work. And if you are tracking, it makes it even better because you can take a picture, you can put it in beforehand, and you can know. Most of the time on the menus as well, they'll put calories and stuff. Sometimes if it's the ones with the TVs, they'll put the macromolecules, but not very frequently. So just knowing kind of what foods have protein in them is a good start, So our second thing, is calories. This all depends on what your goals are. And like I said, most of the time menus already have the calories on them, so people know. If you are wondering how many calories you should be eating, I recommend you go to Google and you search up it's not that. Maintenance calorie equation. I suggest you search a maintenance calorie equation on Google. It's going to give you something for men and women, and for either one it's going to have you put something times your weight in kilograms, then adding something times your height in centimeters, minus another thing, and then minus a certain value, like a set value. And then you're just gonna multiply all of that by how active you are. So if you're sedentary, meaning you don't move at all, light exercise, moderate exercise, heavy exercise, and so on. You're just gonna put that in to like a calculator, and that will be your maintenance calories. Now, obviously, everybody's metabolism is a little bit different. That's why I prefer to use trackers such as like MacroFactor, MyFitnessPal. I know there's some other ones. There's some like AI ones, but anyway, this is your best bet if you are not trying to use a calculator or a tracker. And what I would do is you take your maintenance, you start eating at maintenance every single day for like a week. You look at your weight at the beginning of the week versus the end of the week. And if your weight has drastically increased, you bring that number down. And if it has drastically decreased, you bring that number back up. You want to stay in between the 0.6 range either way. So if you're 180 to begin with, you shouldn't be more than 180.6 or less than 179.4 at the end of the week. Now there are some, you can be within a pound-ish, so like 179 to 181 if you're 180 pounds, but it really shouldn't go beyond that. And then you should start adjusting if it is going below or above either of those numbers. So that is how you find your maintenance, but then you're like, oh, but I want to lose weight. So you take your maintenance and you subtract 300 to 500 calories off of your maintenance, and you're gonna lose weight. And that's also kind of guess and check. Also kind of like why I like to use the tracker, because I don't like to guess and check. But yeah, so your maintenance calories, and then from that, just make sure, if you have to write it down, how many calories you're eating a day on some like piece of paper, that works too. But this is gonna be your best bet. I feel like most calorie tracker or the calorie calculators on the internet, like the websites, use this sort of equation, but just to make sure it's the most accurate, you're just gonna do it yourself. So really nice and easy, but there we go. And then lastly, what should you be eating? Well, I guess this doesn't really go into eating while traveling, but it's part of traveling as well. Exercise. Now, I wouldn't say lifting weights. Honestly, when you're traveling, it is hard to lift weights while you're trying to have fun. So you don't have to travel and lift weights. What I would recommend though is just making sure you have enough steps, and that's about 10,000 steps per day for one person. But exercise is a really easy one. Just got to make sure you're doing just walking. And then if you want to work out, some hotels have a gym. If you don't have a gym at a hotel, there are other ways like getting heavy objects and doing certain movements. But if you want me to make a video on that, I can. Like how to work out while traveling if you don't have a gym, just let me know in the comments if you want me to make that kind of video. But exercise is a big one. If you are trying to, bulk or cut, you want to lose the fat so that you can replace it with muscle. And the only way to do that is to burn the fat off with exercise. So exercise is a big one. Okay. Lastly, I'm not even gonna write this one. Honestly, you just gotta make sure you are eating at the right times, the right foods. So if you are on vacation and you're feeling really drained, you don't have a lot of energy, you should be eating in the morning a lot of carbohydrates and fats, and then not a lot of fats, more carbohydrates, a little bit of fats. And then as the day progresses, you still want to get your protein in, but you should start feeling more energized. And if you're not, you just got to keep kind of eating carbohydrates, maybe add a bit of protein in there. We kind of start decreasing the fats, increasing the protein, but keep the carbohydrates about the same. But if you're feeling really like weak or just drained, like not energy drained, but just kind of, muscle drained, sort of, but anything like that, you should be eating protein. And fats, I wouldn't really worry about, because those kind of changes aren't super straight away. They don't happen immediately. So fats, if you are, experiencing hormonal changes, that's one you could implement. But other than that, just making sure you don't eat too many saturated or trans fats would be ideal. Making sure you don't eat pretty much any trans fats, and then about 13 grams capped of saturated fat per day. But yeah, just making sure or are understanding how your body's reacting throughout the day, and then eating based off of that is important as well, and can be really beneficial, especially while traveling, because you don't want to go have fun but feel completely drained. It's not something that we would want. But that is my 4 things to make sure you are, eating, doing while traveling. But if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe, and thank you for watching. Have a good day.